Recently, Animal Hospital has been getting pretty quiet, so let me take you to another business among Animal Corp. Still an Animal Hospital intern, but I work in a restaurant now. And like the hospital, this is not a simple place. It is swarmed with anomalies, monsters, and insane people, so my first goal is just to survive all the way to 10th shift. Then, I also want to find out what kind of secrets are hidden inside this building. We are going to explore everything in the game, learn how the kitchen works, and figure out how to survive against any strange entities that decide to show up while we are on the clock. Now, let's drop the yapping and just get into it. As soon as I start the first shift, the game does not give me any kind of tutorial or introduction. There is no one there to show me what to do. A customer just walks right through the front door, sits down at a table, and expects to be served. I have to jump straight into the kitchen and start cooking immediately. I quickly realize that this game has some things in common with the Animal Hospital, but it is also very different. The similar parts are that we still have a sanity meter to watch out for, we still have to check the security cameras, and we have to decide whether to accept or reject the people who come to the door. But the cooking is a whole new story. In the hospital, you just had to scan a patient and grab the same medicine from the shelf. Almost every patient was exactly the same. Here, every single dish has a different way of being cooked. You have to chop things, cook them on the stove, and pay attention to the recipe. Also, instead of normal visitors, we get random people asking if they can use our restroom, which is a bit weird. I only get 2 customers for this entire shift, so it is a pretty slow start. Since I have some free time, I decide to walk around the restaurant to see what I can find. I notice that the manager's office is locked up tight and requires a keypad code to open. I definitely want to try to find that code and see what is inside. Right when I am looking at the door, the boss shows up. His name is Seil, and he reminds me a lot of Dr. Harlow from the hospital. He gives me some advice that sounds almost exactly like what Harlow used to say. He tells me that if I see anything strange happening, I should just ignore it and keep doing my job. He also reminds me to drink coffee to stay awake and to make sure I fix the service bell if I want to reject creepy customers. But unlike Harlow, who did not really care if we walked around his office, Seil tells me straight up that I am absolutely forbidden from entering his room. Hearing him say that makes me want to break in even more. Moving on to shift 2, things start getting a lot more complicated. Instead of just dealing with 1 customer at a time, I suddenly have 2 customers sitting at tables at the exact same time. This is where I notice another major difference between this game and the hospital. In the kitchen, you can actually burn the food or mess up the order if you do not pay attention. If you ruin a meal, you lose money. In the hospital, you always got the same amount of cash for giving the same medicine. But here, your actual cooking skills matter. While I am trying to keep up with the orders, I encounter my very first anomaly. In the hospital, anomalies only change the visual look of. But here, when an anomaly is around, my entire screen starts shaking violently. It makes it really hard to see what I am doing, so I quickly reject them and send them away. I also notice a small patience bar over the customers' heads. This means that if I take too long to cook their food, they will get angry and just walk out of the restaurant. A few moments later, I see a weird figure banging its head against the window. It is the headbanger. Just like in the hospital, I have to go over and chase him away before he causes any trouble. After serving a couple more people, the shift ends and Seil comes back. He tells me that we are going to open a drive-through section soon, and we will also be able to buy helpful upgrades at the start of each shift. When shift 3 begins, I serve a few normal customers, but then the power suddenly goes out. The entire restaurant goes pitch black. This is a brand new mechanic that we never had to deal with in the hospital. I have to find my way to the back room and fix the power box, which feels a lot like connecting generators in the game Forsaken. While I am trying to get the lights back on, one of the customers in the dining room starts choking on their food. This feels very similar to when a patient would go into critical condition at the hospital, and I have to rush over to help them before it is too late. Because I am so distracted by the power outage and the choking customer, I make a mistake and accidentally let an anomaly go into the restroom. I follow them in there and find them performing some kind of creepy ritual with candles. We had to blow out candles in the hospital game too, but the effects here are much better. The screen gets a dark, spooky filter over it, making the whole thing feel way more intense. I managed to blow out the candles and clean up the bathroom. Back in the main room, a customer from Vietnam comes in and orders a bowl of pho. It is cool that the game includes actual regional dishes instead of just basic burgers and fries. Right after that, the headbanger shows up at the window again. In the hospital, he only showed up once a night, but here, he can return multiple times. I chase him away again, serve the last few dishes, and finish the shift. Seil comes back to check on me, and it seems like he is going to do this after every single shift. I start shift 4, and right away, I make another mistake by accepting a couple who turn out to be anomalies. I quickly realize that once you let an anomaly inside the restaurant, there is absolutely no way to kick them out or fight back. Since I cannot do anything about it, I decide to just serve them their food and see what happens. While they are waiting, a strange rabbit shows up at the door and asks if it can go into the kitchen to look around. I check my security monitor, and it does not seem to be an anomaly, so I decide to let it in. Surprisingly, the anomaly couple does not do anything bad. They eat their food, and when they are finished, they actually eat the plates too. There is literally nothing left on the table to clean up. At least they left some money behind. Just as they leave, a customer pulls up to the drive-thru window and a fire suddenly starts on my stove. I have to put out the fire, run to the window, and then a new event pops up. I have to carry heavy supply boxes into the storage room. This task has a very fast countdown timer on it. It feels like almost everything in this game has a countdown, which makes the whole experience feel much more rushed and stressful than the hospital. While I am trying to handle all of this, I accidentally serve food to another group of anomalies. This time, things do not go so well. The anomaly starts floating in the air and attacks me, and I have to quickly struggle to get it off of me. When the shift ends, Seil comes back to check in. He says something very interesting this time. He mentions a bad accident that happened here in the past, and he talks about a previous worker named Owen who used to have my job. By the time Shift 5 starts, a very unusual customer walks into the dining room. She reminds me a lot of Lisbeth from the hospital game because she is trying to investigate all the strange things happening in this area. Shortly after she sits down, that weird rabbit from the previous shift comes back. This time, the rabbit seems completely frantic. It keeps repeating Owen's name and asking me where he went. I do not have any answers for it. After the rabbit leaves, a group of customers from India arrive and order some cheese chicken. It makes me curious about what kind of special dishes are popular where you guys live, so let me know in the comments. While I am preparing their meal, an anomaly suddenly walks right into the middle of the dining room and starts attacking the Indian customers. I have to rush over and save them. I am really glad I did not ignore them, because they were just regular people who wanted to enjoy their dinner. During Shift 6, a pig customer comes in to eat. After finishing their meal, they hand me a small gift box. I open it up, and there is a live crow inside. If any of you understand what this means or why a pig would give me a crow, please explain it to me in the comments because I am totally lost. While I am thinking about it, I go back to the kitchen to work on some orders. Suddenly, a very tall creature with incredibly long arms and legs appears right in the corner of the kitchen. It looks almost exactly like the Stalker from the hospital. Just looking at it makes my sanity drop really fast. But unlike the Stalker, this creature does not run away when I look at it. It just stands there, watching me. I find out that the only way to make it disappear is to turn my back and look away completely. I start to wonder if this creepy creature is actually Owen, the worker everyone keeps talking about. At the end of the shift, Seil shows up again. This time, he actually mentions his medical treatment at the hospital. He specifically talks about the animal hospital, which pretty much confirms that this is the exact same hospital where we used to work. Shifts 7 and 8 end up being very quiet. There are no crazy events, no weird creatures in the kitchen, and no major problems. I just focus on cooking the food correctly, keeping the patience meters high, and making sure I do not burn anything. It is a nice little break because the last few shifts were extremely hectic, and I needed some time to just focus on the basic gameplay. When Shift 9 starts, the weird rabbit comes back again. It looks even more upset than before. It tells me that Owen is calling out to it and it wants to go to him. Then it says that Owen actually died in that terrible accident Seil mentioned, and this restaurant is the only place where it can still hear his voice. Shortly after the rabbit leaves, the investigator lady from Shift 5 returns. She tells me she wants to look much deeper into the mysteries of this place, and she asks me to take photos of any strange things or anomalies I see during my shift so she can study them. Now we are on the final shift, Shift 10. The investigator lady comes back one more time. She tells me that she found some very important information about what is really going on here, and she promises to tell me all about it later on. I have to focus on my final day of work. I serve the last few customers, keep the kitchen clean, and manage to get through the night without any major disasters. The shift ends, and we officially reach the end of the game. We managed to survive all 10 shifts, which was our main goal. But even though we made it to the end, there are still so many questions left unanswered. We still do not know what really happened to Owen, what caused the accident, or what Seil is keeping locked inside his office. If you guys want me to come back to this game and try to solve these mysteries, let me know by leaving a comment down below. That is going to be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.